was thinking about, there we go. Good morning, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Breaking the Block. I'm going to make sure that we are actually live because YouTube is lagging on my end for some odd reason. Okay, we're good. All right. So let me know how everybody is doing in the chat, and I will let my co-host introduce themselves before we get into today's topic. All right, Rach, if you want to go first, and then Skye.
We're doing introductions? Oh my gosh. You'd think I'd be used to this. Okay. I am Rachel D. Adams, or you can just call me Rach because we're among pals here. Anyway, I write urban fantasy, paranormal romance, and also aggressively helpful writing advice for anybody who wants to read it. And I can be found all over the place, especially in author tuberland. Go ahead, Skye.
Well, that was quick. Hello, everyone. I am Skye. I'm a fantasy author who typically writes paranormal romance under the name S.D. Haggis. And I have no idea what's going on in my life right now because I have been at Fair all week and my brain is fried.
Understandable. All right. So what we do here is we have discussions on things that might be blocking us from our creative processes, also known as writer's block. But if y'all don't believe in writer's block, then you can just, it's like burnout or something like that. Excuse me, the voice is trying to go. But there's Maggie. Here's Jenny. Good morning. Getting some work done today, or setting up to get some work done today. Eva, good morning. Skye and Rach doing double duty. There's Emmy. Good morning. And I also wanted to remind everyone that today is the last day of the Heart Breathings virtual writing retreat. And this right here is their schedule for the day if you want to join in, or there's the regular AuthorTube stream playlist that's on a spreadsheet in Google Docs that I will get a link to here in a minute. I can't think. All right. So
thinking's hard. Thinking's hard.
There's sentences somewhere. I don't know. Eva says, Hostinger is who I'm using for website things, anti-Wix for reasons for now. Okay. And UGH is why the default on text and images to slide in animation. Have to change settings for each thing. Even if I copy an element that's default slide animation returns, minor inconvenience. Oh, wow.
You.
But also, it's not. I get it. You're doing way better than me because my website's like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'll figure it out though.
Well, right now with mine, it's more of a, hey, something just happened. Is there any way that we can manage transitioning to some sort of, I don't know, serial situation or blog situation, because of recent events? And so the Hubs is looking into that. I don't know if it may be cost, prohibitive. That's it. It might be cost prohibitive, but we're going to look into it at least.
Yeah. I know there was something, I think Sarah Cannon was looking into trying to add subscriptions to her website. So maybe once she gets that figured out, she'll have a video on it or something. But as far as I know, probably newsletters would be the way to go somehow.
Yeah, I was looking at Substack because I've already got that one blog on there, and you can do multiples.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's the alternative, I think. Medium, I don't know. Medium and Substack are both more geared toward blog and nonfiction, but there are more options available when it comes to Substack than Medium. So that's where I was thinking about putting it.
Yeah. I'm thinking about doing that as well. Well, honestly, I don't know, because I started researching other platforms, and they're terrible for
Yeah.
for the most part, and I still don't trust Wattpad.
No.
Yeah.
We're all in
So-
the same boat basically at this point. Like
Unfortunately. 800 for 2 years with Wix and subscriptions were an easy integration.
That's no.
Jenny Low Substack. It could have been an Etsy and Patreon, but I just couldn't get it going. Then I found out Wix is Israel based. Yeah.
I
Um,
know that.
yeah.
Oh, thank you for that information. Same.
Yeah,
I
for
did not
real.
know that.
I think right now I'm toying with, because I went on Namecheap and got my domain, and then I ported it over to, where am I at?
A site.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like Namecheap.
Yeah.
It
Anyway.
costs more, but I really enjoy having WordPress. Because I tend to break things. The number of times I have locked myself out of my own damn site and had to ask for their help to get back in is not even funny.
Yeah. Okay, so it is WordPress through kind of like a Namecheap thing. So that's what I'm doing right now, currently trying to play with it.
I like WordPress because it is so adaptive and you can usually find something to work on WordPress for whatever project you're doing. And
Mhm.
lots of YouTube. I taught myself how to deal with WordPress through YouTube.
Didn't either until my payment declined and the invoice had a return Addy. Yeah. Okay. Hostinger integrates with WordPress. Okay. I'll look into that. It has a shop and email only real pull maybe to pay for it. Yeah. I think I'm still going to stick with Substack for like newslettery type things. Just because I've already got it set up, and yeah. I don't know. It's having to rework everything. And because we're having to rework everything and rethink what we're going to do, my brain's like, oh, let's actually write. Let's not think about the tough stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just starting to get into subscription stuff and look into it some more, and then all the stuff went down, and I'm just like, you know what? Maybe I should have just stayed back for a little bit longer. Not even worried about it.
Yeah. I even made a pen name on Ream. We'll just go ahead and say it. So I could have 2 subscription things going on, and I hadn't even like advertised it or anything like that. I'd built it, but now it's like
all that work for nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it short-circuited my brain. Actually, I'm like I don't know. It's just, if you're going into business, please be professional. That's all I'm asking.
Yeah. Can y'all hear her snoring?
Yes. Yes. It took a moment, but yeah.
I'm sorry.
It's funny.
See, I'm caught at this point where I'm trying to decide if it's worth, like, I literally do not have time to take stuff down right now. I know that lots of people were able to do that, and they were like, oh, and also I don't know if it comes with age or no, it's not just age. It can't just be age, but because a lot of the ones that did take stuff down or did close off and everything from this platform did it, and they're my age or close to my age. But the thing is, I'm like, okay, it took me this long to put stuff out there, so I'm going to just wait and see what happens. I believe Inca York is also one that said the same thing. It's like, look, you've got you've got 2 months because I'm too busy to do anything right now. You have 2 months to prove to me that you're going to do something here.
Yeah.
And that you're going to keep it as successful as you claim that you were going to keep it. And Inga put in a ton more work than any of us have.
She was killing it.
She's actually the reason I decided to go ahead and try Ream. So, yeah.
Yeah.
What's my age? 49.
I'm 40, so
I'm an OG Gen Xer.
34.
34.
I'm a puppy.
Among my friend group here in North Carolina, I was the puppy. So all of my besties are in their 50s.
My husband's Jesus, 46. Yes. Math.
Yeah. I'll be 50 in January, so I'm right there, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, all of this stuff, including me publishing books and everything, didn't even start, you know, until I've been writing since I was 11, but I didn't actually publish a book until 3 years ago now. It's been 3 years, I think.
Okay.
Or going on 3 years. So yeah, when I saw everything going crazy in Ream, I was just like, this is just beneath me at this point. Yeah. You know, I'm more of a, I'm going to pop my popcorn and see what happens sort of person. But I did let everybody that I care about know where I stand on it.
Yeah.
After I saw things and read things. So
yeah, it's like, I don't know. Like when it first happened, I was like, okay, it's going to be okay. It's going to be fine. We're going to pull through this. Nothing's going to change. And thank you, Eva. You're awesome. Got to it before I did.
Eva and Skye with the band hammer.
Yes. Thank you. But now it's almost like, I don't know. It's like watching high schoolers again. And even in the two discords, because I'm in the Scribbling Through the Summer Discord and Storytellers Rule the World Discord, I think it is. Yeah. Nothing's going on.
Yeah. And it was like, it was really, really something that I checked on every day. And there was usually some sort of information or sharing or, you know, some sort of activity. And then since this happened, it's been silent. And that bothers me because when you have very active developers in a group and you are used to that and everything gets handled in a very efficient way. And then all of a sudden they oust one person, whether that be, you know, fair or not fair, because we don't know everything that happened. But when that is the person that usually handled all of that, you've got to figure out something quick. And that has not been happening.
Yeah.
It's the business version of a block. There you go.
Yes. That's probably the reason why we're still on it. Hey, Andy. Yeah. The heart. I swear.
Yes.
This is like move. It needs to go away. There was a stream I was on, I think last week, where the heart wasn't even there, and I'm like, "Ooh, they removed it!" And no.
It happens on mine every once in a while, and I get excited thinking they've listened to us. They moved it, but no, it comes back. And I've looked all through settings, y'all. I can't find the setting for that.
Yeah, same. Oh well. Okay. Does anybody have any other type of blocks other than the businessy block right now?
We've covered website businessy block, and we've covered the changing of platforms businessy block. Which is why I don't know if you're going to get anything from me on Ream this weekend or not. I do have it pulled up, but I'm just like, my brain is like, really? I'm annoyed. So
Yeah. I think it's wise to allow time for things to prove themselves. Drama happens and things evolve. People can't grow at the same rate as one another, and some people cannot handle success. Yes.
True.
Yeah. I just like the positive side of me is like, well, the person that's CEO now has a very successful business.
Maybe they can work it out.
Right. And then the other part of me is like, they'll work it for them.
I also had to so this is what me and somebody else was talking about, was that they're also in their early 20s. So not to shame, because I know that I was mature for my age at that time. However, I've made mistakes too. You know, I remember being, you know, all straightforward and go, and not thinking about consequences sometimes. And that's why I'm like, well, let's see if they can pull it out and maybe learn from this mistake.
Yeah.
Because Ream does offer everything, not everything, but a lot of what I want in a platform. If they can just get it going again.
Yeah. One person does not a successful business make. Yeah. That's why indie authors get burned out. They're told to ask for help, but who has time to help? We run ourselves raw. Exactly.
Yeah. Yes, agreed.
And I think that's the reason why it hurt so bad too, because Ream was almost where you could go and you could get the help, because they were going to help you with marketing. They were going to help you with setting things up to where your subscription side of the business was going to be so easy to handle and run and update. And then it's like, maybe not. But yeah. Anyway. What? Go ahead.
Just kidding.
Okay. All right. Anybody else got any burnout stuff? Again?
Mine has been just because it's July, so I took on extra stuff, and so I find myself in the middle, actually past the middle of the month, and I haven't actually done anything. Like, I haven't completed anything, so my brain is having trouble accepting that. You know, because my brain wants to see something completed. But I have to remind myself that I have come pretty far in all 3 projects. So maybe there's still a chance that I can complete by the end of the month.
Yeah. I believe in you. I mean, you're good. You're good. You got this.
I've got the opposite problem this week, because the fact that I took a hiatus and I went to fair, and all I've been thinking about is fair. I was at the dance concert last night waiting for the fireworks to start, and all of a sudden I had a whole bunch of ideas in my head. I was like, no!
That's just like the muse to go, you're in the place where you absolutely cannot just sit down and write anything down.
I wrote lots of notes on my phone waiting for the fireworks.
Why would you do that to me, my brain? You're walking around writing all this stuff, and they're like, wow, that person likes the fair so much that they're like taking notes on the fair. Nope. This is my next 15 book series with 100,000 pages per book. Ah!
Yep. Exactly. All right, Miss Maggie, do you want to introduce yourself real quick, and then we'll jump right back in?
You can hear the dogs are going. The neighbor was just here. Hello, lovelies. Mama Maggie Ward, independent author and stroke survivor with migraines. That I'm on a new medication now. Again, another new medication. And this one, the side effect is no sleep for you. which is fine because I've got a lot of editing to do. I'm editing my stuff. I'm editing a friend's stuff. I'm got some arc reads that I need to get into, and so Camp Nano.
Woohoo!
Nice.
All of these are the book that that I did for my friend. So I've got 43 hours in on this one book. Yeah. But that's what you do. You know, I'm tracking sprints for Nano, so yeah, that's where I am.
Nice. I hope you can at least get some type of rest so you don't drive yourself crazy.
After this, I think I might like lay on the TV and like put the Weather Channel on it or something and see if I can just, you know, do the nod thing.
Yeah.
The nod thing feels so good when it happens.
It does. Let's see. Amy says novels and some projects are very slow burn and it can be hard to, and that's why I draw or read a book to feel a little achievement. Doing dishes can be a little achievement. Yep, exactly.
Like I cleaned the house the other day and I was like, hey, I did stuff. So, you know, and I think it's kind of something that for me, because of the way I was raised and all that kind of fun stuff is like, I have to at least be productive for part of the day or else I don't feel like I've done anything right.
Yeah.
So, but that's just my goofiness. It's not something that everybody needs to do. If you can relax a whole day, go for it. And for the event, since you've been gone think about it this way. You used your social batteries and everything for that whole week. Well, you know, you got to recharge for at least half that time. So don't get down on yourself for doing that at all. It took me after the Ren Fair. The Ren Fair was 3 days of total, completely, you know, being outgoing to everybody and promoting the book and all that kind of stuff. And so after those 3 days, it took me 3 days just to recover. I don't even think I did sprints that week.
Need a vacation from my vacation.
Yeah.
Right.
There's a reason for that saying.
There's also something I saw earlier today that really resonated with me, and that there are certain people that you can be around that even though you're being social, it doesn't count against your social battery because they're just that kind of chill person. Mm-hmm. And you trust them enough. And so it's like there's a big difference in me, say, going with the kids on vacation to family versus me going with my gals to vacation for a few days, because we will just lay around in our pajamas and dare people to say something. We don't care, you know. Whereas the other vacation, you got to get dressed, you got to be here at a certain time, you got to do this, you got to do that. So different. I just thought that was interesting.
Yeah. I always like vacationing with Mom because she would always like make everybody else dial it back. And that was really good. And then Dad was like, y'all do that. I'm going to go over here. Who wants to come with me?
There's always both ends of the spectrum. And as writers, it's like the same thing when we have projects. You know, there's some like there's people that we can be around that drain us less. There are projects that we work on that drain us less. And then there's, you know, it's the opposite end of the spectrum. There's ones that you're just like, I cannot 2 hours of this and I need a break. Mm-hmm. So it's the important thing to remember, like just like the thing that we're always talking about with every single stream is self-care is important.
Yeah.
And you have to remember to take care of you as a person, especially if you have some kind of a health issue, and then everything else just has to fall in line, but not let that need to do everything, to get everything done, to push so far forward, because that's something that I think all of us do, you know, as just like we when there's something on the line, we just try so hard to get everything done, but then it's just like, and then we just end up like crashing and burning afterwards.
Yeah.
And the social batteries, your creative batteries, they're all things that you have to take time to recharge, and you have to take time for you. And you know, it's a temptation to do all of the stuff, but the things and the things plus the things.
Yeah. Hey, Jenna. And yes, I agree with this. Rest is possible without sleep. Don't overdo it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And yeah, Maggie is a cat.
Uh,
Yeah. And speaking of batteries, Emmy's at like 40%. Jeannie's at 25%. I think I'm around 70-ish, just because Sundays tend to be my restart days. I don't know why, but Sundays are always more energetic for me because it just feels like a new week, and it's like, okay, batteries are charged, let's go. Kind of thing.
and they're always, sometimes there's a thing that'll like, you'll be like, yeah, I'm running on a full charge, and something will happen and it's like beep,
Dunk.
instant zero charge.
That's going to be me
And-
today, because right now I've got a high level, like between 80 and 90. But as today progresses and we got things to do outside the house, it's going to drain fast.
Yep. And so Jenny says, I've been working so hard to get things done. I feel guilty not doing anything yesterday. I spent the day on TikTok and reading, but it made my brain itch not to work.
Mm.
I get that, but
Yeah.
you probably needed the break.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Salaried employees make their money without counting the seconds. And Eva works in this way. $0 though. Yeah, I get that. Let's see. I actually feel better after breaking the block, but for interviews and podcasts and workshops, that tends to drain me. Well, I'm glad it makes you feel better.
Yeah.
And Rach is at 60%. Awesome. I can leave if a stream takes any of my battery.
Mm-hmm.
That's the beauty of working for yourself sometimes. I know we have deadlines and we have to get certain things done at a certain time, but it's also like if you manage your time well enough, you can have it to where you have about 3 choices that you can do for that day, and depending on which battery is down, then you can switch it to where you're working off of the 60% one, whether that's social or creative or business, I guess. Yeah. She has changed her
I just
source.
need somebody to be hired for my emails. I don't
What?
like doing my emails. I said I just need to hire somebody to do my emails for me because I can't stand that.
I feel that way about my marketing and social media stuff. Can I just get someone else to, do this, and I'm just gonna sit at home and write. I'll be over in the corner just doing the writing thing.
Hashtag broke author problems.
Yeah.
I did hire someone to do my newsletter for me, since I only send it out once a month, and I'm just like, it's so much nicer. I don't have
I guess you just have to balance it. Is it worth it? Do I really want to do this? Right now I can just suck it up and deal right now. So
Yeah. I think that's also where learning yourself can come in, because the things that you hate, you need to do on like a high battery day, and the things that you love, you can kind of do on a low battery day. And just knowing which ones are going to drain you, you can set up your week accordingly.
Yeah, but I think the temptation for all of us is always there to, and one thing that people do is they will borrow from another battery to try to keep the battery they feel most obligated to do going.
Mm-hmm.
So that's I find myself doing that a lot. It's like I think I posted this thing the other day about people with chronic illnesses and how they're masking all the time. And so yeah, that's another thing we do is as writers we'll like mask ourselves into a corner where we have like a deadline and we're borrowing from our other batteries, or we're pulling spoons from other things. I like the spoons metaphor because I'm always saying I don't have the spoons for this, or I don't have the spoons for that.
Yeah.
So it's I think it's as human beings, our brains, our bodies have this amazing ability to keep moving us forward. But there's a point where it's just going to go, boop, you have reached your maximum capacity. Commence sleep mode.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, calling us out. Yes, Eva, we are. Yes, at this point right now, that's where I'm at. It's like I wasn't even planning to complete the reformat, but somebody came available to look over all of my books as a whole and, let me know about any gaps or plot holes and stuff like that. And so I really want to get that done. So that kind of was a project that got moved up to the front. And so like you're saying, I'm borrowing spoons from my other projects. I hope I got that reference right, but yeah, I'm borrowing time that normally or had been allotted for my other projects and now putting it into this project. And I don't know how many times I've read my first book. I'm tired of reading my first book. I mean, I love it. I love my characters, don't get me wrong, but there's only so many times you can reread the same book over and over again. And you're just like, you start getting blind to stuff and, but I'm like, I'm pushing myself to do it. And I'm scared that by the time I get done with it, I'm not going to have the battery left for the other projects that also still need to get done. So finding balance is a struggle right now, I guess is what I'm saying. I'm trying to not lose it and get blocked again.
Gotcha. So, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, well, let's talk about this. Let's talk about what happens when you get story blindness.
Mm-hmm.
I think the best analogy for it is clutter blindness. We've all seen Hoarders. We've all seen that shows. We all have our book hoard because we're either book dragons or book wyverns or, yes, we raise your hand. Raise your hand if you've seen that thing where you have to have 1,000 books to have a library, and you're like, oh, I only have 3 to go. Yeah.
I have a library. Woo!
Yeah, woo! But it happens. It happens to all of us. We all and the thing is it. This also touches in on things like some people, it's really easy to write blurbs. I find it a nightmare because you have to be outside your own story world because the story world so much that it's very easy to miss things and to become blind to like holes and stuff that you don't see. So it's like, how do you guys, this can be a form of block because you're like, oh, I've missed that. Oh, I've missed that. Oh, I've missed that. Or that you're like, something is missing, but you don't know what it is and you can't find it because in your mind as the author, that thing is in there. And you think it's in there, but it's not in there. So, and you can't find it. Mm-hmm. The story blindness is real.
It is very real.
Or something when you're going over and over and over something.
I'm currently, the series that I'm publishing this year, the republishing this year, that was originally with a small press 10 years ago.
Mhm.
I had to step away from it for that exact reason. Everything that went down with the publishing company closing, like, it killed me because I had a contract for 5 books in a series, and then they were like, "Oh, by the way, we're closing our doors. We're not going to be publishing any more of your books." And I was like, "Well, damn." And then between that and everything else, I was just like, I don't want to work on. I don't even want to look at this series anymore. So I've spent the last 10 years not even touching it at all until like this year and last year. And it sucks.
I got that way with I'm No Hero. Even though y'all have only seen the first book, it took me 10 rereads on it to try to get it down from the 260,000 words that it originally was to where it is now, and to pull whatever I needed to go into book 2 and then to cut it down as well. And I haven't even touched book 3 because I've reread book 1 and book 2. It feels like a billion times, and I don't want to deal with it anymore. I'm tired of Nadashia's name. I'm tired of seeing them in my brain. So yeah. I get it. It's almost like you need 2 of you. One that works on the project and does it until they're tired of it, and you can pass it on and be like, okay, fix the rest of it and just put it out there.
Yeah, Relic of Time War does that to me. There's times when I'm like, I do not want to edit another one of these books. And I've still got like, let's see, I've got book 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 left to edit. And it's just like, oh, I know how the story ends. I know who's dying. I can't write in anyone else's death. I just think, but one thing I've started doing with it, because this was the series that started from the fan fiction that I wrote after my stroke when I was relearning language. So we're talking that this goes back to 2015 and 16. That's where the origins go back to. And I one thing I've started doing is reading it literally from different characters' points of view. Okay, I'm going to be this side character for this set of read-throughs. What is this character seeing? And it helps that I'll like go through and I'll put a certain character's name. I'll just change all of that character's name to a color so that it will pop out when I'm reading it.
Okay. That might be a good trick to do whenever we go back into the 50th read or something.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's a good idea. I've not done that part. Also, like what Jenna has mentioned, the timeline. I did do that. I did do my whiteboard situation so that I could make sure that I don't forget something. And yes, that was very helpful for continuity reasons, and making sure that every character is listed and that there's a reason that character even got mentioned at all. I don't want to leave anything out or introduce a character by name and then like 3 books in you're like, wait, what happened to that character?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so that's helpful. However, it's just a matter of, after a while, that's why I'm getting you to look at my books, because I'm like, make sure and go back over them, please. Because I don't want to miss anything. Well, but yeah, it has made me stall, Maggie, what you were talking about. Yeah. It has made me stall because I keep wanting to go back and go, did I miss anything? Instead of just continuing.
Yeah. One of the things that I also do is I go through and I'll write down the events of the chapters backwards. I'll go from the last chapter in the book to the first chapter in the book. And doing the chapters out of order like that helps me check the chronology of the events, but it also helps me make sure I don't have pop-up characters, that I have characters that have actually been participating in the story here and there before before this event. And so, yeah, it's really easy, I think, as authors, because we have the characters in our minds. We have the worlds in our minds. And everyone's like, oh, don't be info dumpy. Don't give too much world building stuff. Don't give too much character-y stuff. Yes, but the problem is you still have to give some of it.
Mm-hmm.
And just because you know this in your mind, your reader doesn't know this. And so it's a really fine line to tread of knowing when something is missing and knowing when something is overdone. So, it's like having a cake in the oven. How much you put in it, how long you leave it in the oven, that's all dependent on what kind of a cake you're making.
Yeah. Yeah. Journals help. Journals help a lot. So I have one of these that is not only I'm No Hero Book 1, but another one has half of it is the outline for I'm No Hero Book 1 and what scenes I took out and the characters that I took out and put into, like, I melded a character in with Blairy's character, who is the Jolly Priest. So yeah, it's it can, journals are awesome. If you have Notion or something like that and you actually work with Notion is awesome. So is Campfire. I read an article of somebody using Campfire for their fantasy series, and I think their series was 10 books, and how they had to pull one of the characters because their editor said that there was too many characters in a fantasy epic. And yeah,
I'm giving you side eye right there, or giving the editor side eye.
Yeah.
Fantasy.
And and they put that character into like two other characters, so it still had like some of the lines and everything and some of the interactions, and I'm like, why? But they said that Campfire helped with that somehow. Let's see.
That would be a struggle for me. I have a huge cast for all of my books. I always end up with so many characters.
Hmm.
It's like the very first series that I wrote. One of the first books was the Revelation Night series. And when I first wrote the rough draft, I had 11 POVs. And writing 11 different characters with like individual voices and voices of brothers that had to be similar but different. And I thought I was like developing MPD or something while I was doing that, because it was just, I had playlist set up for every character. And it's like when I went back through after I'd finished the first two books and I read it, and I was like, yeah, everybody else, I'm going to keep the main two characters as first person POVs, and everyone else is becoming a third person semi-omniscient POV, because I just can't. It was, even though I had the headings at the beginning of the chapters of each character that it was just, there were so many characters.
Yeah. And I love this. Everybody's in agreement. Why? There's never too many characters in fantasy. But according to the art, now I read this like 3 years ago, I guess, whenever I was first going researching Campfire, and from what I remember, they had their fellowship, and it was 10 characters, and it was the 11th character that they erased and put into 2 of the other 10. So apparently their editor wanted a round number or something. I don't know, but yeah.
My brain was like, add 2 more, make it 13, add 2
Right.
More characters. Characters are like chocolate chips. You can never have enough. Just sprinkle more in.
Yeah. Because like if it had been me, I would have probably added the 2 characters to make it the 13th and gave it back to the editor like screw you and found me a new editor.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, sorry.
It's so easy for us as writers because we have the world in our mind and we know where it's at. That we miss things going into books, that we miss like the placement of a character in a scene, and you're like, wait a minute, this person was supposed to be in this scene the whole time, and they're just there, fly on the wall for the whole scene. They don't, you know. It's like I have one scene where everything there's 2 of the secondary characters, a main character, and one of the tertiary characters. So the only ones that aren't in this group meeting, and everyone is talking back and forth and everything. And the whole half chapter that this one scene is just little vignettes of little groups of people talking and trying to figure this problem out that affects literally everyone. But they're all talking about it together, and there's one place where there's just these 2 guys, these twin brothers that are leaning against the wall, a wall, and like on the side, and they're like off to talking to themselves, but they're not really talking in the group and stuff. So it's, you know, in your mind, you know, everybody's there, you know, everybody's at this big meeting. So how do you get them all in? And when you think about it, basically your whole book is this: how do you get everybody in? Because you know all the places they're supposed to be, or that they need to be for the story and the plot to work. But are they really there?
Yeah.
And that's why the going backwards thing, doing a quick summary of each chapter and where characters are, going backwards through the book, helps you make sure that they're actually there.
Yeah.
I started using Aeon Timeline after seeing Kate Kavanaugh using it. And what I do is after I've written a couple of different drafts, I go back through and reread it without like touching any editing stuff, and use Aeon Timeline to kind of keep track of what's happening. Because I was finding myself having too many events happening with the same characters at the same time on the same day. And I'm like, they can't be in 4 places at once, guys. Come on, we got to think about this.
I had that mistake too. I had a character out with the fleet and then a character on one of the colony planets at the same time. And I was like, oh, yeah, I'm going to have to, this person has to move. And then forgot to include. Sorry, I just saw what Jace wrote. I was like, oops.
Whoopsie.
Oh no.
They're a ghost. It's a ghost character. It's a spooky,
Wait,
spooky
they died?
character.
Wait, what happened? What did I miss?
I'm really resisting like giving a 2-star review for a book series that I read, that I got the series and I read it and the main characters had this like boyfriend fiance since the first book, and it's like 10 books in, you're like, okay, here's the last book, we're gonna have this wedding, and the the character is completely gone. The boyfriend fiance that is so sweet and so cute, and they have their little spat stuff, but you're like, it's like, their little kind of like B-plot romance is kind of the thing, that cozy thing, that's cozy romance B-plot that's kind of been keeping me in this Cozy Witch series. You get to the 10th book, nowhere to be found, no mention, doesn't exist. It's just like, where's the wedding?
Anything.
Where is the payoff for the wedding?
It's in the background.
And it's like, and the other thing is like, is you know how when someone pantser writes and they don't like go back and check their plots? Book one, you're like, okay, this is a first time book, first time author, I can let that skate. Book two, oh, well, it's a cute world. I'll stay for the cute world. I like the cat and the boyfriend. Book 10, where's my wedding?
Was the cat still there in book 10?
Yes, but I will give a lot of leeway for kitchen witches. I will give a lot of leeway for cozy kitchen witches, but yeah.
My complaint would be similar to that, but there was a series that I was reading, and there was a love interest introduced in the second, I think it was the second novel, and it was really it was like, oh, that's so you've kind of invested in all the characters the first novel, then the second one of them turns out to be a possible love interest, and then you go through 3 more books, and then all of a sudden at the end these two decide to get married, and you're like, but wait, so you had a love interest in the second book, but there was no love or anything mentioned. Pretty much it was all battle and plot, otherwise no romance really. You guys are buddies at this point as far as I'm concerned, and then all of a sudden, boom, wedding, and I'm like, wait, my brain just exploded. What?
How do we get to the wedding?
All I could think about with something like that is they went up to them and said, "You're mine now. We're getting married."
We must get married for the good of the kingdom. No. We're not in a kingdom. That doesn't matter.
Like these two characters even had side relationships, sort of. Like one of them definitely did, and I'm just like, well, are you? But but you guys are suddenly fated to be with each other. What happened?
Yeah. Well, it's like okay, so the whole series, the other 9 books, made such a big deal about, the B plot was this cute little cozy romance thing going on, and then book 10, boom, she's single, and it's such a big deal that she's single, and it's like, did he die? What? I want my wedding.
Did he die?
I have how many weddings do I have in different books? I have wedding, like I have a wedding, like so many weddings.
Yeah. I think Ghost with
Cats, the Ghost with series is the only one that doesn't have a wedding and some kind of wedding arc.
Okay. Before we get into anything else, let's touch on this for a little bit. Amy says, I'm close to the Act 3 rewriting and will be tackling my big battle scenes. What are your guys' experiences with them?
With battle scenes, first of all, you need to know who's in the battle scene, and more importantly, who is fighting who, and do they change the person they're fighting during the battle, because you have to track where they're at. It's like battle scenes. This is a complicated metaphor because you want to say they're like chess pieces or checkered pieces. You have to know where they're set like where the actual characters are and everything. One thing that I do, like in my battle scenes, like if it's just like a one-on-one battle scene and I'm charting that out, I will find a video game battle like scene, or like a movie fight scene, or I'll have my daughter, like when the middle was home, I'd have her fight it out on the computer. I'm like, okay, this is your setup. How do you fight this battle? You know, how does this person move? To track, you know, how certain movements fall when a person is fighting, because, you know, if you just say, we stabbed and parried and stabbed and parried and stabbed and okay, so you're poking at each other and you're blocking. What else? What else did you do? We stabbed and parried. Yeah. And did you move forward? Did you move back? Did you trip over something and have to like roll back up to your feet before you got murderized? You know, where are the people dead? Did someone have this shock of like watching the person next to them like die, and then suddenly they were facing two people? Or, you know, it's their what was that movie I watched? 1917. It was the movie about World War I, where the entire shot, they literally, the whole movie is like the cinematography blows your mind, because the entire movie is like one long shot. It's like you're just following this one guy and you're watching these things happen around him. Yeah, pretty much. If you battle scenes and smexy time scenes are pretty much the same dynamic. Someone moves forward, someone moves back. There is impaling.
That's great. I'm just like, what? I'm gonna have to quote that.
Are you the impaler or
impaling?
Which of your characters is the impaler? Which of your characters is the impalee? These are things you have to know when you're writing a battle. And then there's the fluids. Just keep track of the fluids. Oh my god! I'm sorry, I've been awake for 25 hours.
So we're all giggly now.
Oh gosh.
No. I went back to where she said D&D map. Exactly.
Emmy, a can of worms is a different genre.
That's sci-fi.
I love you, Emmy. Oh my god.
Oh man, I'm crying now.
No, but using tabletop gamings, RPGs, tabletop gamings, MMORPGs, multi-platform games, a great resource is YouTube. If you have in your mind that you know, like what the character looks like, if it's like related to a video game or a movie or something like that, you can find fight scenes. Like right now, who is it? The new Wolverine movie is coming out.
Deadpool and Wolverine.
Wolverine and Deadpool. And they both have a very specific way of fighting. The Witcher, if like in your mind, it's like a swords and sorcery thing. And The Witcher is a great thing for combination like that. What is it? Black Desert is another one.
And if you have like over the top characters, like they can fly through the air and stuff like that, a lot of Korean or Chinese or Japanese dramas are really good at battle scenes like that.
So I'm going to go back
Yeah.
to the basics and say Marvel.
Yeah.
I have a character named Largos is from the well, pretty much his clan is from Central America, the Gulf, and so he has a mixture of martial arts from that area. And when I saw Luke Cage for the first time and saw the enemy, I think it was the second season. His style is Capoeira, I believe is how it's pronounced, or Capoeira. Anyway, it's yeah. So it's almost a dance like martial art. And I watched those scenes over and over again and made notes. And then that's how Largos actually fights when he's hand to hand combat. And then, yeah, Lord of the Rings, those, if you want an epic battle to map in your brain for multiple characters, that I believe is really good from a standpoint of an example of someone who does a really good job of it to me is R.A. Salvatore, because he pops through multiple characters in a battle and he still delivers full on battle scenes. And like you said, I have those wet, instead of dry erase, it's wet erase DM mats still from when I was DMing RPG groups on tabletop. And so that's what I use to map out where all of my characters are and all the stuff when I get blocked because I can't figure out who's where and what they're doing.
Yeah.
And even if you don't have something like that, you can use graph paper.
Mhm.
Something as simple as graph paper, and like every square is 5 feet, and this character is here, and this character is over here, and then little dots between them to look like a football board.
Graph paper was what we originally used before we got the race boards. So yeah, definitely.
And so it's super easy, and I mean it's like one thing that we did was for when the middle was home, we actually like built parts of the Relic of Time War world in Minecraft. So you could literally run through the world to different points and different, like go to a certain castle or go to a certain city and, like have a representation of the place you're building there. So it's as Dark Academia and D&D, but realized D&D wouldn't give the vibes. Big fantasy about 100K stories. Yeah, and I mean, if you're writing like Dark Academia, there's so many shows that you can literally pull from. That you can watch them on Netflix, you can watch them on Prime, you can some of them you can just watch on YouTube. You can anime. There's a lot of animes where you can pull stuff like this from. For like dark stuff like this, one of the Tokyo Ghoul.
Yeah.
It's old. Tokyo Ghoul is old school. It's been around forever, but they have some really well blocked fight scenes. Sailor Moon has some really well blocked fight scenes for just watching how characters are moving through a fight against each other.
Yeah.
That.
Jujutsu Kaisen is really good.
I haven't done a lot of big fight scenes with multiple characters yet, but the one thing I have to do, because I'm more of a visual person, and you guys are describing all like movies and stuff in order to see how stuff is pulled off. And that is definitely helpful for someone like me. But the other thing, like I have had to do with my fight scenes, even though it's a smaller cast, is I have to work through each person individually and go step by step with what they're doing, and then I can find a way to weave all the stories to get all the parts together to make it it's just one fight scene the whole season. It's not wrong.
Well, I
I used to walk in on those when James was watching it and tell him that I was tired of hearing all the constipation going on in the background.
Yeah.
Those guys did need some fiber cookies.
I don't know better than try to drink with it around y'all.
It's time for coughs.
Well, it's like, okay, so my husband is a huge Arrow fan.
Mhm.
The show Arrow.
Yeah.
And that was on for like 10 seasons. I think it was like 10 seasons, 12 seasons. The Arrow and Flash and those WG
and all them.
Yeah. But the thing is literally every show is the same base plot.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And like every show is 2 to 3, 2 big battles, one or 2 small battles, and somebody dies, So yeah, it's and it's like, oh well, that's fantasy. Well, they do it in Star Trek all the time. Who's the guy that's going to die in Star Trek?
Richard.
Yeah, it's like you go to Starfleet Academy and they hand you a red shirt and you're like, man,
I'm super.
I don't want to go.
See you, Jace.
Bye, Jace.
Never story is the same as a storyteller that changes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, he does use Marvel in his lessons.
Mm-hmm.
Even gaming, like if you're a gamer, go through and do Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, even turn-based games. And sometimes because that way you can focus on how each character would attack and know how they would react in a full-scale battle.
That was how I started. It was with the turn-based idea when I started trying to do everyone individually and then weave them together. It was based off the turn-based attack thing because I was like, okay, how would this work with this person?
Yeah. Okay. So it is 11. Do we have anything else that we need to talk about? I hope that helped, Emmy. Yeah.
No, you guys helped me. I've gotten my notes taken and everything.
I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch and take more notes too.
I'm so sorry I missed the first 15 minutes my neighbor was here and I was like, I have a thing, I have to go.
Yeah, it's perfectly fine. And I was kind of hoping that you had fallen asleep finally, but
yeah, I'm actually drinking sleepy time tea right now. I have hope.
okay.
So, but no, it's we're all, everyone as storytellers, we're all trying to find our own platforms. We're trying to find our own means. We have to weed and water and groom our gardens to be the best books they can be, and it's hard. And I'm happy that I can like my brain can help other people or something. And I love getting ideas from other people.
Yeah. It's all very fun and it all helps us out.
Yes.
Hive. Yay.
Yep. All right. So do we want to do outros? Yeah. Let's start with Mama Maggie and then go Skye and Rach.
Oh, hello, lovelies. Mama Maggie Ward. I have a fly in here that keeps trying to land on my camera. I write books, all genres. Hashtag genre slut. That's what I am. And Eva even made me a mug for it. And I had a book come out this month. I have a book called Swords of Etheria. I have a book coming out next month called The Spartan Chimera, which is twisted Greek myth. And I'm spending my Camp Nano as an Edmo where I'm doing editing all month. And I have just working away and trying to find another migraine medicine that'll work.
Hopefully you will soon.
All right, and I am Skye. I'm a fantasy author who typically writes paranormal romance under the name SD Haggis, and I am back from hiatus after having a week off to deal with 4-H and fair and all that fun jazz. And this week I have the opposite problem that we talk about on this channel, and the fact that I have too many ideas running through my head and not enough time to work on them. So it's been fantastic.
I'm Rach, or Rachel D. Adams, who is co-author to 2 series and going to continue to be an author to who knows how many more. I also run a author's help blog called Aggressively Helpful Writing Advice, and I hang out on AuthorTube all the time, so you see me there in all kinds of sprints. Right now, I am trying to finish book 3 while also redoing a reader magnet and reformatting books 1 and 2. So wish me luck and wellness. I really appreciate it.
All right, everybody. I am writer Sam Wicker, and thank you for joining us for another episode of Breaking the Block. We will be having these every Sunday at 10 a.m., and we might switch between channels every now and then, or maybe we'll start switching channels. I don't know, on a regular basis. But yeah, and if you have any questions or anything, feel free to hit me up on Instagram. All of our social medias are going to be down in the description box below, or they should be. If they're not, I'll fix it. The cult of breaking the block. Yes, we have cookies sometimes. All right.
I have the whipped cream.
Yeah. And doggos.
Yeah,
we have doggos.
We have doggos.
Yes.
Uh-oh.
I had kitties in here, but they, when I went out, they went out with me. So yeah.
All right.
We love all the pets.
Yes,
all the pets and all the cuppas.
Yep. All right. Thank y'all again, and we will see you next time.